Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of Video Sign Incorporated. We're back here again today. It's like Groundhog Day. Every day is goofy. It's snowing out there right now. I'm going to have to go out and push some snow after the show. And I got my hat on. I'm ready to go. Don't worry about it. Got my Doe shirt on because today we're going to talk about the city council meeting on Tuesday and what happened from that meeting. Now, it's going to be interesting. I've got a lot to say. It was not a very good meeting. Let me put it that way. Not good for taxpayers, not good for voters. It was a joke. And we're going to talk about it. Don't worry. I'm going to give you the lowdown. I'm going to tell it to you straight. And you can make up your own mind. The video's there. Go watch it for yourself if you don't believe me. So got up at 4 this morning. Yeah, I've been up since 4 o'clock. Frosty out there. 16 degrees, barometric pressure steady at 29.27 on my weather station anyway. And humidity at 84%. It's when the barometer starts dropping at 29.27 and on its way down, you know you're going to get some weather. Here we go again. Lake effect snows. I don't know how much we're getting, but man, oh man, I'm out there every day. Yesterday was twice I was out there. So I would imagine it'll be the same today. Rinse and repeat. Here we are. So let's get into the meeting. But first, I want to go to my sponsors. And we look at the weather up there, and we know that if we haven't done it by now, we should have had our car checked and prepared for winter. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop is the place you want to go because they will take care of your car. Even now, it's not too late. We still got another month there. I'm just saying a month. March to me is spring. That's when it all goes away. But we still have another good month of it, and it does look like it's going to let up. I looked at the long-range forecast, and it's going to be in the teens probably for the next 2 weeks. So we're still going to get lots of this weather. If your car is giving you problems, now's the time to get it to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, and make sure you let Ken Hunter take a look at your car. He'll take a look at it from top to bottom, front to back, make sure all your systems are go. If it's making weird noises, it could be just something to do with the suspension. With these cold temperatures, the suspension takes a beating. Get it in there. He'll tell you. He has all the equipment, the latest diagnostic equipment to tell you what's wrong. He'll fix anything that's wrong. You got to worry about your battery. You got to worry about your heater system, your defrosters. You want to make sure you're safe in this weather. And the only way to do it is to make sure your car is winterized. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Go to wildbillsauto.ca. They are on Oakwood Drive next to the Kia dealership. And when you go out in weather like this, and this is why I don't go out, there is a good chance that you may get in a little fender bender. It's just, that's the way it is out there. If you do, well, Bill's has got a full body shop. Take your car in. He'll fix it and get back to you in showroom condition. WildBillsAuto.ca is where you go. And while you're at his website, flip over to YouTube. Go to my channel, Paul Lemire 4973. And subscribe to the channel. Hey, all you have to do is subscribe, and you're going to get a notification whenever I drop a video. It's usually, today it'll be by about 1 o'clock. But on a normal day when I'm in the 4680Q studios, that's where I usually broadcast out of. It's around 3 o'clock. It's loaded. You can watch it on YouTube, Rumble, and X. But you should subscribe. Then you'll know I drop one. You can also give a thumbs up, thumbs down if you don't like what I'm saying, and leave a comment. Always good to have comments from people, see what people are thinking out there. We talk about it on the show, and we go from there. So my other sponsor, thank you so much. I love my sponsors. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. We'll talk about them halfway through the show. It's going on 10 o'clock now, so we'll be talking until about 10:30 about them. That's more broadcast. Yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning. Or it's 10 o'clock in the morning right now. So that's how I get it on by noon or 1 o'clock. Viewer comments at Penny Brookify. If a counselor could not be bothered to go through the budget and submit amendments, when there's clearly savings to be had. Yeah, I found $24 million. Well, I can't be bothered to vote for them. That is not who deserves a seat on at the horseshoe. And I totally agree that, Penny Brookify. It's not an easy task to go through the budget. Believe me, I spend hours on it and taking notes as I go so I can come on the show and talk about it. It takes a lot of time, but that's what we elected them to do. We elected them to control our money to make sure it's being spent wisely. So when I go in there, I take a lot of time and look through it, and I know Lori LaCoco does too. I don't know how much time the others spent. Some didn't even submit any recommendations. Now, some of my recommendations would be longer term. They might not happen in 2026, but they're definitely things that should be taken a look at to see if we can save taxpayers money. And that's what DOGE is all about, Department of Government Efficiency. We need to find efficiency. Times are tough. But when you have counselors, Peter Angelo, Strange, Cario, and Dabrowski, not submitting any suggestions. Now, there's only two ways to interpret that. Either they didn't bother looking through it, they don't give a damn, so they didn't have any suggestions, or they looked through it and King James the Weird had everything right and they agree with everything he said. So there's no suggestions to save us money, regardless of whether the taxes are going up or not. So when they don't submit suggestions, that tells me they either didn't look through it or they just agreed with everything Jim said. Yep, it's the mayor's budget, so they agree with everything he said. All the expenses were fine. They never found anything out of line or that they wanted to change. They didn't want to need to save the taxpayers any money, so leave it as it is. So it's amazing that that happens, but it does. And when you come to election time, you have Peter Angelo, Strange, Cario, and Dabrowski, who had no recommendations. Everything is fine. Remember that. At 881 Slick, 73 cents a month. What a waste of paper. Bet you $1 she will ramble on for 20 minutes about it. And we know who he's talking about. Councillor Van Nieuwesteg, we know she rambles on and mumbles on. And she came up with some savings, and one of them was like 73 cents a month, all her savings would save. And we're going to talk about how the squirrel trivializes the budget to make us think that it's not, it's nothing. Why even bother? But it is something, and it adds up to a lot at the end of the day. So, anyway, the biggest time waster on council. You're right, Gary. I think you're talking about only 8, and you'd be right. You'd win that bet if you bet me $1, because the biggest time waster on council is, in my estimation, and I watch every meeting, is Councilor Van Nieuwesteg. And at $1,600 an hour to have all staff there and run these meetings, it adds up to a lot of money in a year. You talk about saving money, sit down and shut up. That would save a lot of money. Get up, talk to the point, and sit down. That would save a lot of money. More than 73 cents a month. Okay, the operations budget, it's come and gone. It was a total shite show. Disgusting. These councilors are despicable for the most part. And it's the worst council that I've ever seen put together in Niagara Falls. And I've seen them all. I've seen all the councils since the 60s. Through Franklin Miller, George Buchater, Bob Keegan, Ted Salcy, Mayor Thompson. I've seen them all. Franklin Miller, did I say him already? Yeah, he was a good mayor. I've seen most of them. Anything before the 50s, I haven't seen, of course. But I don't get the feeling they have the taxpayers' best interest at heart. They're bullies, mean-spirited, and I just don't think they can deal with the budget, to be honest with you. They couldn't care less. Their offers to taxpayers a 0.5% reduction on a $175 million operating budget and a $25,000 reduction on the $79 million capital budget. It's like 0.0000000. Everything. Everything. She's a stay the same. So look for about a 4.5% increase on your tax bill for 2026. That's on top of the 7.9% for 2023, 4.9% for 2024, 4.9% for 2025, and now this 4.5% for 2026. Add it all up, compounded because it's tax on top of tax on top of tax. And this council, made up of 3 new councilors, Newestake, Patel, and Baldinelli. This council has raised taxes close to 25% compounded since they've been elected. And there is an election this year. Don't forget those numbers. Don't forget those numbers. I haven't pulled the sheets yet, but I can almost guarantee you they ran on lower taxes. And they'll give you the blah, 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 we're catching up and boo. But you know what? They had an 8% increase in 2022, and that was the catch-up budget. Oh, yeah, we have to do 8% this year because we got to catch up. Because of COVID, we got to catch up. Well, they never caught up because we keep getting 5% a year. We keep getting 5% a year compounded. So they never caught up, and they're never going to. They keep spending money. They're spendthrifts. So they're never going to catch up. I've got all the interview sheets from the last election. So I interviewed all these people. They're all in the studio. Am I going to do it this year? You know what? Why bother? I don't think I'm even going to do it. Why? They give you the same baloney, and then they do the exact opposite anyway. I'm going to pull out the sheets, and we'll see what they said about keeping taxes low. I don't think a 25% increase over the last 4 years is low. I don't feel like it's low when I look at my tax bill. Do you? Do you think it's low? I don't think it's low. And we're going to talk about Windsor and what happened there. Now, to say this was a shite show on Tuesday is an understatement. It's probably somehow in contradiction or contravention of the actual Charter of Rights, as Führer Fritz von Cario insulted Burdett while denying his right to delegate the council. That's right. If you bothered to look, you would have seen a 95-page submission by Jody Burdett. And it was really written good. There's some great suggestions, some great insight as to how council gets to their numbers, way better than you're ever going to get from council. And he wanted to speak to it. And this staged presentation, and it was staged. I guarantee you it was staged. It was talked about before how they were going to do it to stop Jody Burdett from being able to talk to council. They talked to probably the city solicitor. They talked to Bill Mattson, guaranteed. The Penguin, they all were, because as soon as it was brought up for him to get up and do a delegation to it, Councillor Fritz von Cario stood up and said, I don't want to listen to this guy. I'd like to make a motion that we do not entertain Mr. Burdett. We've already read all this. I doubt any of them read one word of that, believe me, because there was 95 pages. It was submitted a little bit later. I went through it. And if they won't let him speak to it, do you think they actually read it? No, come on. We know they didn't. We know they didn't. He called them vexatious and frivolous. He called them about his complaints against the city, which were lodged in accordance with the city rules. So there's nothing frivolous or vexatious about it. It was a complaint. The integrity commissioner said he doesn't have a case, and the integrity commissioner went above and beyond his ruling by giving comments regarding Mr. Burdett, which right there is a complaint. Who do you complain to about the integrity commissioner? But regardless, Fritz von Cario went on to say, please, first off, no, here, what did he say here? You got to hear what he said. Oh, I don't want to listen to him, and I don't think the taxpayers want to hear from him either. Now, I'm not sure who he thinks he is to say that the voters and the taxpayers don't want to listen to Mr. Burdett. I, for one, do. And I know a lot of people who do. But it goes just beyond whether I want to listen to him or not. It goes right down, does he have the right to speak? Well, apparently, Fritz von Cario, Peter Angelo, Strange, Baldinelli, Patel, and Dabrowski think he doesn't have the right to speak because they sided with Fritz von Cario and said, no, we're not going to let him speak. The only one who voted to let him speak was Councilor Lori Lococo. Now, strangely enough, only 8, Councilor Van Nieuwesteg, she was nowhere to be found. I don't know where she was. Powdering her nose? Who knows? I don't know what she was doing, but she wasn't in her chair when this vote went down. I know how she would have voted, though. There's no question about it. She didn't vote. I wanted to listen to Jody Burdett. I read his submission, and I wanted to see what he had to say about it. And believe me, no matter what Cario or these other bozos say, that 95-page submission by Jody Burdett was not criticizing council. And they didn't know that because they didn't read it. If they would have read it, they wouldn't know that. He was explaining the increase. And he explained it to the point where he said, it's valid. He actually validated them, and they don't even know it because they never read it and they wouldn't let him speak to it. But he explained the 2.43% and the 2% on the capital. He explained it. There's so much hatred for Mr. Burdett. They have Burdett syndrome, just like Trump. Your Burdett derangement syndrome is what they have. BDS. Because if they would have read it, they would have let him speak because there's nothing there against them or anything. But because it's Jody Burdett, they wouldn't let him speak. And you know what? If it was anybody else, one of their buddies, no problem. No problem. I mean, I was insulted listening to the Innovation Hub presentation. They're the guys I wouldn't let speak, and I would say no to their money. But if it was one of them, oh, yeah, come on up. You're going to have 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Beep, 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 beep. Your 15 minutes is up. You know, like I wanted to listen to what he had to say. I mean, as tax-paying citizens, why is Fritz von Cario and council supporting him taking your rights away? I mean, what are they afraid of? If they would have let him talk, they would have been happy he talked. I think the councilors forget that they work for us, the taxpayers. We don't work for them. Nobody elected Fritz von Cario. That's right. Last election, they threw him out, as a matter of fact. He gets appointed because somebody passed away, Wayne Campbell. Now he comes up and acts like he's a dictator or something. He don't want to give people the freedom to speak at a city council meeting. It's their city council meeting. You're their representatives. you imagine um, if his business, they had a meeting, a budget meeting, all the accountants at his business, and they told him he couldn't attend? And if he did attend, to shut up, he didn't have a right to speak, even though it's his business and his money? Well, that's what happened. It's our business. It's our money. And he said, you can't speak. Think about it. And for council, the rest of council, except for Councilor Lococo, to back him up on that, I mean, you're talking about sheep here. Sheep, the whole bunch of them. Baldinelli, Patel, Dabrowski, Diodati, Strange, Peter Angelo, raise their hands in unison. This was so choreographed, so scripted. It's unbelievable. If anybody watched this and thought it was just organic, yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. This was planned. As usual, the only councilor with any common sense and respect for taxpayers voted against it. Yeah, that's how it always works. Bill Matson, the city clerk, he backpedaled in an article in the Review written by Ray Spiteri, great guy, saying he took Carrio's and council's denial to be just for that meeting last Tuesday, not for future opportunities. But hey, if council can say no on Tuesday, last Tuesday, why can't they say no next Tuesday? And if they can say no to Jody Burdette, why can't they say no to you? See the precedent that was set with this rule, this thing right here that was allowed to go through? The ability to deny people the right to speak with just a snap vote, if a counselor doesn't like what they have to say, is there now. It's been done before. Matson said he couldn't remember a situation where someone that had registered to speak was denied the opportunity. Of course not. It's the people's right to speak. And who is this council to take that away? You talk about an integrity commission complaint? Now, I'm going to go more into the shenanigans of this meeting in a minute. Just hang tight. This is far from over. I have 9 months to deal with this. October 26th cannot come soon enough for me. We'll talk more about it. But that right there was despicable, was disgusting. Now, you know, I tout a zero budget for the city. I always do. I always talk about a zero budget, how easy it is to achieve. And we have the ability to do that. Do we have the will? Questionable. We have the ability, though. These counselors will tell you it's impossible. Oh, with inflation and this and contracts and blah, 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 the same bullshit. Baloney. But Windsor just passed a 0% increased budget. That's right. They never increased the budget. They took the number from last year and they lived within their means. Somehow they performed this miracle because according to everybody in our city council, it's impossible to do. We can't do it. It's impossible to do. Why? Oh, inflation, contracts, blah, blah, do. Can't do it. Can't do that. Windsor did it. So let's go through a few things, and then we'll talk about the Windsor budget a little bit. First up was the Innovation Hub Dog and Pony Show, and it went down exactly like I told you would on my show on Monday and Tuesday. I probably talked about it. I talk about it all the time. A bunch of bologna sandwiches served to a hungry council who couldn't wait to eat the bologna. They begged for their $700,000. Council gave them pats on the back. What a great outfit. What a great job they're doing. It was interesting. They said 36% of the businesses they helped were from out of Niagara Falls. They weren't even from Niagara Falls. I found that pretty interesting. So taxpayers in Niagara Falls are paying to help businesses that are outside of the city. Okay, that means 64%. If 36% were out, 64% were businesses. So how about giving them 64% of the $700,000? Because why are we supporting as taxpayers businesses from out of the city? Isn't it a think tank? Isn't it some kind of a thing for locals? And I told you my story about it. I had an idea. I wanted to talk to them about it, and they didn't even call me back with the stamp of Lori Lococo on it. Yeah, Councilor Lococo gave me their name, said, Paul, they can help you. They didn't even call me back. So not one of their numbers can be confirmed. So this here is what I'm going to show you again. This is it. Napkin budget. Yep, this is it. This is what they say they did last year. $1.3 million deficit right here. Look over 700,000. Yep. Councilor Coco put in a recommendation to deny the 700,000, but they okayed it. As a matter of fact, they didn't even get her a seconder to her motion. Not even a seconder to save us taxpayers $700,000 from this. This is what gets you $700,000 if you're in cahoots with our city council. This is it right here. This is it in a 50-page program, or what do you call it? Dog and pony show, I call it. Presentation is what it is. Seriously, man. Why can't we look at their real books? I don't want to see this. Anybody can put this together. I can put one together right now in about 2 minutes. And when I go to city council, would they give me 700,000? If I took this to Dave Bordenave, the guy who runs the Innovation Hub, and said, I need 700,000. Here's what my budget was from last year. I'm in a $1.3 million deficit. Do you think he, the guy asking for the money, would give it to me? He'd look at me and say, are you crazy? You're not getting a dime from us for that. You know, like do you have a set of books we can look at? Do you have a 5-year record of what you've done? That's all it takes with our city council. Yeah, when it's a make work program for your buddies, that's all it takes to get 700,000 bucks. Here's the one question I would ask Bordenave. If I presented this sheet to you, would you give me 700,000? If he says, well, yes, I would, then I'd say you're fired. You don't have a job anymore. You're gone. And if he says, no, I wouldn't, I'd say, that's why we're not giving it to you. Anything else? You're dismissed. Never happened. Never happened. Pats on the back, dog and pony show, a testimonial, telling us how much all their connections, they're all connected with all these people. They got so much money. But why do they need our money? And why are they in the hole of 1.3 million last year? Does council ever consider that? Why they're in the hole? They're telling us all the success stories they've had, everything they're doing, how they're making all this money. And I said, before this even came out, I said, I'm willing to bet the 700,000 we give them goes to their wages, which are probably bloated. And I look here, and 700,000 bucks, $687,963 are their labor and benefits. Bam! I got it right on the money. I know these con artists. I know what they're up to. But they got their 700,000. They got their 700,000. No problem. Hand it over. Like I said, there's money that we can save. We can be efficient if we have the will. These people don't care. If they're going to give away 700,000 on this, you think they care about you and your money? No. Okay, over to the casino patrol money. The Penguin went into it and spewed a lot of baloney. I mean, this is a baloney night. It's baloney night at City Council. It's more than normal. It's all a cover up for the real reason we pay them. He made a bad deal. Now, council has to direct him to end the deal. That's what council should be doing. 3.3 million or whatever it is, 6 million, whatever, depends on how much we get in. We give them 18% to patrol an area they're supposed to patrol anyway. Before the casino came around, what do you think the police did? They patrolled the Fallsview area. Now all of a sudden the casino's there, they want 3.5 million from us? Yeah. Come on, it's part of your job. You have a $250 million budget. Niagara Falls and St. Catharines pay the lion's share. We're the biggest cities. We already pay you to patrol that. That's a bad deal. It should be taken off the books. Now, the Penguin validated it. It's got to end. It's got to end. That money has to be saved for taxpayers. And right there, if they could end that deal, if they even tried to, that would give us a zero budget if they put the money towards the revenue side of the balance sheet. Yeah, that's how easy it is. It's not hard to have a zero budget if you really want to. Now we talk about the white elephant called the exchange. And of course, we listen to all the baloney from the staff about the exchange. I want to ask them one question. Why was the exchange built in the first place? We spent $17 million on it. Why was it built? Nobody ever tells you that. So what they want to do now, staff, is turn it into an entertainment complex. Yep. We know the farmers market was supposed to be there. That was part of it. It fled because there's no parking, and the farmers hated being there. Now they're at the McBain Center where it's better. So now the staff is trying to turn it into not the exchange, but the entertainment exchange. And it's running at, I don't know, $3 million deficit. It's killing us. The carrying charges alone are about $700,000 a year. The wages are another $700,000 or $800,000. It's killing us. So now it's going to be an entertainment center. But my question is, why'd you build it in the first place? What was it supposed to be? An entertainment center is basically a big hall, open hall, with some sound equipment in it and a stage. That's an entertainment center. And you can build it for a lot less than 17 million for the number of people they get, 100 people. So what is it built for? And we don't know the answer to that. I don't know what it was built for. Why did we build the exchange? Not for an entertainment center, I know that. Was it supposed to be for artists? What was it supposed to be for? Whatever it is, now they want to turn it into an entertainment center and rent it out in that. We didn't need to build a new one for that. We have buildings that could have done that. Why are we losing $3 million? Why are taxpayers footing the bill for $3 million a year on it? The revenue they make from renting it out doesn't even cover the wages and benefits. Yep, doesn't even cover that. That's got to go. We got to straighten this out real quick. This is a terrible, terrible thing. $17 million, carrying charges of $750,000 a year because we had to loan money to build it, and a $3 million deficit besides. You tell me, ladies and gentlemen, you tell me. Oh, and then we go over to Tiffany, the Squirrel Clark, did the budget presentation. And the way they presented it is a problem because they trivialize everything about it. They minimize any effect of any recommendations from counselors who gave recommendations down to like 7 cents a month. pennies a year for everything, making the suggested cuts look like they were so small they're not even worth doing. It's not even worth doing it. For 7 cents a month, why bother even doing it? But those 7 cents a month and everything add up. And they never tackled any really big thing anyway. So I got to sneeze. Excuse me. I don't know why all of a sudden I had to sneeze. I just had the urge. Hope I don't have sniffless. Okay, enough of the jokes. This is serious, the city council. Okay, so she did the presentation, trivialized everything, broke it down to pennies so that you would think it's no big deal. Great strategy to use. Used car salesmen, con artists use that all the time. Oh, it's only $20 a week, $20 a day. Yeah, that's all your new car. 20 bucks a day. That's it. You can afford 20 bucks a day. All you do is give up 3 or 4 Tim Hortons. That's how they sell you this crap. And you know what? People go, yeah, 20 bucks a day. I can afford that. 20 times 30. That's 600 a month. That's 7,200 a year of a payment for 10 years on your car. Yeah, that's how they make it sound like you can afford it. And this is what she did. This is the oldest trick in the book. That's the way they did it. And while doing her show, she put on a really good show here. She got caught in several moments. And the moments were fabrications. That's what they were. I'm not going to call them lies. I'll call them fabrications. I want to call them lies. She claimed that the Niagara Falls tax increase ranks very low in the region. She had this chart here of all the different municipalities. We were down there, 8th, 9th, 2.43%. The other guys are up here at 4.8. But right next to that column, much like this is baloney right here, this kind of thing, right next to it was the capital increase, which was 2%. All of a sudden, when you add them together for our total tax increase, 4.4, 4.5%, whatever it ended up being, it raised us to the top. We're like second or third. But by splitting that out, it put Niagara Falls, it put council in a good light, in the staff in a good light. Oh, we're way down. We're 8th out of 12. 9th out of 12. The reality is we're 3rd out of 12, or second highest. And we're the only ones who get 20 million from the casino. And we're still one of the highest. But they pulled this little stunt. And now Councilor Lori Lococo called her out on it. It was beautiful. And she was like, I don't know what the other ones do in their budgets. Bull shite. She knows exactly what they do. A lot of them are posted. Most councils do the operations and capital budgets at the same time. They don't break them out. They just figure out both of them, and it's one rate. And that's what you see on that list. Niagara Falls breaks it out. Capital budget, operations budget. And she just put in the operations budget. Very, very deceptive. Councilor Lococo got her on it. Now, if she wanted to present the truth, she could have had one of her assistants, her high-priced assistants that we have working for the city, one of the 60 or 70 we've hired over the last 3 years, to look it up. You can go on, Google it, you'll find out exactly what it is, no problem. Then she said something really bizarre. I don't know if anybody caught this. I did, because I'm watching it like a hawk. And when Lori Lococo asked her, like, why'd you do it like that? She goes, I was told to do it like this. I was told to do it this way. And I'm going, that's interesting. You were told to deceive the public? Well, who would possibly tell you to do that? You are the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. You're the one. So who would have told you to do that? Well, let's go down. Who's your boss? Let's see. Is it any of the counselors? No, 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 not the counsellor. Was it the solicitor? No, no, not the solicitor. Oh, this is a tough one. Oh, I got the answer. Her boss is the penguin. The penguin told her to do this. It has to be. Nobody else has the authority. He's their boss. The CAO, the penguin, Jason Burgess, he told her to do it. Interesting. She let that out. And I caught it. I don't know if anybody else did. Go to the video. You'll see it. I was told to do it this way. Yes, you were, my dear. Yes, you were. Okay. Let's continue on with the squirrel. Let's continue on with the squirrel in a minute, but I got to get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And whenever you want a good pizza, the one thing you have to look for in a pizza is consistency. You want to know that when they build the pizza for you, and they build it, it's an art. They just don't throw it together. That's where you get a rotten pizza. When they build it, it's got to be done right with a good sauce, good crust, cheese and sauce on the right ratio on the pizza, add fresh toppings, cook it right, and you've got a winner. Well, they use the Mancini family recipe that's been around for 41 years now to make their pizzas. So that's how they get consistency. And of course, knowing how to build a pizza works to give them consistency as well. There you go. You've got a winner. Now, you've seen the folder that I've had. It's 3 pages, but they have poutine, steak and cheese poutine, phenomenal chicken wings, awesome chicken wings, panzerotti, regular fries, poutine, you name it. They got everything. The menu's full. You're not going to go hungry, believe me. Even if you don't like pizza, the rest of their menu is fantastic. A beautiful chicken parm sandwich, really good. You can't go wrong with Pete's Pizza. They're open until 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday to serve you, midnight during the week. And they just opened a new location, same owners, on Thurlstone Road at Kaler Road for your convenience. Everybody in the northwest part of the city, you can have a great pizza too. What are you waiting for? It's Thursday night. There's hockey games tonight. Grab a pizza, sit down on the couch, have a pizza. And my recommendation is whenever there's a city council meeting, have a pizza. Because when you get crazy and you want to throw things, if you throw a piece of pizza at the TV, it won't hurt it. I'll have to wipe it out, but it won't hurt it. Pete's Pizza, I love it. I get it all the time. Support our sponsors. They support the show. 905-374-2222 or go to petespizza.victoria.ca. You can order off their website. They'll deliver. They use Dine, Skip, all the other services. You can't go wrong. Get yourself a pizza. You know you want one, get one. And if you're a Leafs fan, now you need pizza to calm you down, believe me. Okay, so when it came to the $700,000 for the innovation hub, Squirrel wouldn't even say their name. She called them economic development. Hey, we already have an economic development department. Serge Felicetti runs it. We also have a small business department, which is run by somebody else. I mean, and then we have the innovation hub. So we have 3 different departments we're funding for economic development. Why? Why do we have 3 departments? We're going to give them $700,000. Get rid of the economic development department and get rid of the small business. They can handle it all if we're going to give them money. If not, take the money from the other departments. Get rid of them. No. So she calls it part of economic development. Yeah, right. Part of Make Work program. That's what it is. Another recommendation was to cut $200,000 of the program for hiring doctors. You know how they Wellens hired 13 doctors by offering them $100,000 each. Niagara Falls offered them 50, no results. I haven't hired anybody, and now they've gone to 100,000. So they want 500,000 more from taxpayers to buy doctors. That's basically what they're doing, buying them, which is fine. But the program is so unsuccessful in Niagara Falls, they have 400,000 left over from last year. So until we burn through the 400,000, why are we putting another 500,000 in there? Now, Lori Lococo, Councilor Lococo, being much nicer than I am, said, "Well, listen, let's take 200,000 and put it on the revenue side and dump the tax levy for the taxpayers. Give them 300 instead of 5." Me, I would have said get rid of the whole 5, and maybe I even take the 400,000 back and give up the taxpayers $1,000,000. But no, they turned that down. The whole program's a joke. It's not working. It's not working. They keep hammering. It's not working. We haven't hired any. I think Mike Strange got up and said we're 36 doctors short in Niagara Falls. I'm not sure if we're 36 doctors short in Niagara Falls, but we are short a lot. We're short a lot. I thought the 36 was for the region, but Niagara Falls is short doctors. We need doctors, and this isn't working. So I've given you some ideas. John Ringo Beam, my buddy John, has given them ideas about how to deal with doctors and getting doctors to the city. I've taken John's idea, which they're trying in Simcoe right now, and allocated it to call the exchange because it's a big white elephant. It's a big monkey on her back, and turn it into a medical exchange. Create offices with the money that we're putting aside, and build offices, turnkey businesses for new doctors. That's just an idea. I'm just mentioning that, but definitely 200,000 over there, not a problem. We'd have 700,000 just sitting there doing nothing, waiting. No, didn't approve that. And anything Lori Lococo put forward, they never approved. So let's get that straight right now. Yeah, another 500,000 into that pool, that cesspool that's not working. And I'm not a big fan of what we spend on the library. I really don't understand $6 million. And I think a total review needs to be done. But oh, how do I get it? These chamokes. They decreased their budget by 0.5%. All this other crap they're spending money on, and they pick on the library of all places, right? 0.5%, right? Yeah, 0.5% from them. And Councilor Coco gave up. She's on the library board, so she got up and said what they needed the money for: technology, more people coming in to use technology, this and that. Tried to, justified what they were asking for, and they still decided to hit them with a 0.5% decrease. Now it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but in the big scheme of things, I mean, why bother? Why bother? It's just ridiculous when they're approving $700,000 based on a piece of junk like this, and they're going to hit the library for 0.5%. Come on. So what's the final tally? It's insignificant. What they saved for us is insignificant. It doesn't matter. All this whole council meeting about the budget was to put on a show. That's it. Nothing got accomplished. You might as well not even have it. So operations budget reduced by 0.5%. Yeah, 0.5%. Approximately $350,000 of $179 million budget. Capital budget, $25,000 saved. Hey, 8 people. The best they could do on 500 or 600 pages of expenses is a stinking $375,000 or something like that, 400,000, 25,000 of a $78 million budget. This budget was passed by everybody except Lori Lococo. She was against approving it. And when you put it together, that's your 4.5% increase. Thanks for coming out. That takes taxpayers to almost 25% increase compounded over this council's term of 4 years, which is up in October. Remember, most of them campaign on lower taxes. And here we are. You got the council that you deserved. After watching this disaster of a meeting, I have to ask, and I have to wonder. I sit here wondering why we even bother to have a council. Seriously, we spend close to $1 million to have a city council, and what does it do for us? Really, they just rubber stamp budgets. Nobody has any serious proposals to save taxpayers money. They waste our tax dollars on white elephants like the exchange, the Innocent Tea Trail, 35 million between them, ongoing costs to maintain them, and that it never ends. $25,000 concrete ping pong tables. It's all there. They use bogus surveys to back up their claims, their idiotic expenditures. What came out of this meeting from 8 councilors who allegedly line item the capital and operations budget? That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go through it line by line and see where they're spending our money. Absolutely nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. Let me correct that. I apologize. 25,000 of savings in a $75 million budget, about 400,000 in savings in a $179 million budget. I mean, these amounts in the big picture are nothing. They're why bother? They're why bother? I mean, why not get rid of council and let staff and the mayor handle everything? Looking at the costs, we would not only save $1 million in council salaries, we would also save $1,600 per hour per meeting time. At an average of 5 hours for a city council meeting, over 15 meetings per year, that's a saving of $120,000 every year. And I think the number for 2024 was 155,000, something like that. That's just in meeting time. And if you didn't know, staff does get paid for going to those meetings. It's not free. $1,600 per hour it cost us for those councilors to sit there every meeting. If council's just going to rubber stamp whatever the mayor presents without finding any savings for us taxpayers, I mean, that's what we hired them to do, right? Doge, that's what we hire people for. Why bother having their input? Why bother having them there? What else do they do? No, they go around for photo ops and everything. Is that what we pay them for? Do we pay them to go to photo ops? Is that what we pay council for? Or to be vanguards of our money, to guard our money, make sure it's spent sensibly? Any councilor who takes their job seriously, they work under the tenet of good governance, they're outvoted every time. So no matter how good they are, they're rendered ineffective by the other ones, by the rest of them. And that doesn't help us any, taxpaying citizens. Hell, I mean, even the taxpaying citizens in this city don't care who sits on council. They don't care. 27% of them bothered to go out and vote. If they don't care, why even have a council? Why bother? Why bother having an election? It costs a lot of money to run an election. Why bother having it? Why not just appoint a mayor and let him and staff run it? Because that's what's happening right now. And the sad part is when we talk about the budget and the 25% increase over the last 4 years, is I don't think council, on the whole, not all of them, I would say there's a couple maybe who understand this, They don't realize the repercussions to the economy of Niagara Falls through these unnecessary tax levy increases. All of a sudden, whenever there's an increase, rents go up, cost of services go up, food prices increase, your meals and entertainment costs are more. A property owner that is renting all of a sudden gets his rent increased. Now, whoever's renting is going to get an increase because the property owner he can't absorb a 25% increase over the last 4 years. So eventually those rents are going up, which means more for the person renting. It affects that. A business owner, whether he's leasing the area for his business or owns the building, his prices go up because his expenses go up from the taxes. And you got to remember the 4.43% or 4.5% this city council is raising our taxes, right? That's only part of it. We still have the regions part to go on it, which drives it up to maybe 6%. And then we have the inflationary increases in food and groceries and utilities, gas, hydro. We get hit by it all. And so do businesses. The business owner pays more for his rent. He's got to up his price on meals for goods he's selling. People have to cough up more money for their own property taxes. It costs us more. And that money comes from reducing their entertainment. They got to take the money from somewhere. That $4,000 or $5,000 a year that you pay in property tax, it's got to come from somewhere. So the only way you can do it is you have to find efficiencies. And Chris Regas says it the best. Council asks us to tighten our belts, but they never want to tighten theirs. And they're the ones who should be tightening it so we don't have to. That's why we hire them. And I think it's not just city council who is unaware. Every level of government wants more from taxpayers, which augments the effect our own city council decisions have on our economy, on our wallet. The one place we should be able to find relief from everything going on around us is at city council, is our own city council. We hire them so they can help us, give us relief from the other levels of government we don't have much control over. Municipal government is the closest to the people. But instead of them helping us, they put their foot down on our necks a little bit harder and squeeze a little bit harder. Mean-spirited? Yeah, it is. And we saw that in the operations budget with denials to speak, councilor handing over $700,000 to an entity handing in a napkin budget. No books. Gaslighting by the CFO, who basically told us she's only doing what she was told. I rest my case. What are we going to do? Nothing now. Can't do anything now. But in October, we can. That's when we'll have a chance to speak. Okay, and just speaking of Windsor, let's just take a look at that. A town like Niagara Falls with a casino, they come down with a 0% increase in their budget this year. Mayor Drew Dilkins. He's the guy who guided these guys to a zero budget. Interestingly, a policy approval by council in Windsor approved an increase to user fees to ensure that the taxpayers received a 45% cost recovery on recreation user fees. I don't think we see that here. Even close to that. And you talk about resolve by these councilors. The majority of council agreed that they wanted to get to zero. That was their goal. Their goal wasn't to keep it as low as possible. No, their goal was zero. And there wasn't any effort to add numbers back into the budget because they realized at the end of the day, they know affordability is a central issue in the community. Where do we find a council like this? Where do we find a counselor that the counselors that work together to achieve a goal of zero? We didn't even have any ideas from anybody who brought it close to zero. How they do it? User fees are up for many city services. If you use it, you pay more. The goal for the city to recover the costs to deliver any of the services. This included a 30% hike to licenses for taxi drivers. And interesting that I saw that because it looks to me like council got together and they didn't leave a stone unturned. They looked at everything, even taxi driver licenses. They extended the hours people need to pay at parking meters. So, ours start at five, stop at 5 or 6 or whatever it is. They extended it till 9 at night and they raised more revenue that way. And they increased parking fines to raise revenue. Cuts to arts programs, culture budget, they cut it by 5%. We've got the exchange losing $3 million a year. Why don't we cut them? The revenue can't even cover their wages. There they are. Sunshine List job wages. Hey, nobody wants to review these departments. Fire department. Nobody wants to review that. There's got to be $5 million of savings there if somebody would tackle it. We never even heard that. We never heard anything about that. They don't touch that. It's sacrosanct. And by the way, we're supposed to save another $1.5 million by moving the dispatch to St. Catharines. Did you hear anything about that? Nope. Nope. City jobs will no longer be advertised anywhere that requires payment and no longer attend job fairs. They're saving money. They're not advertising, not paying the big fees to be in papers and circulars. And I'm telling you, they looked at everything. They took into account cheaper gas prices for 2026. Last year, in 2025, they put in the going rate, which was probably $1.30 or whatever. Now it's like $1.10, $1.12. They took that into account in the budget, took their fuel and dropped it and saved money there by forecasting properly. Cut the city's snow clearing budget after adjusting the allotment using the previous 5-year trend. So they took the 5-year trend. What did we actually use? And they budgeted accordingly. And they cut back on contracted services by doing more in-house work. And when you look at the capital budget, they wanted to buy an automatic line painter for Oaks Park or these parks for baseball. They wanted to buy a bush cutter and they wanted to buy a self-loading garbage truck or something. All these expenditures, probably well into $1 million altogether. Well, what they said is they're going to buy them in the capital budget, but we're going to cut something else out. So where they found savings was contracted services. We're going to do it in-house. We're not going to have to spend as much. And these are just some of the things they did, that the highlights of what they did. But you can see no department was left untouched. They did it. And they got it to zero because it was a concerted effort. The will was there to get it to zero. They started out with that mindset and they achieved it. Where do we find a council like this? I mean, somebody from Niagara Falls City Council should call up Windsor and take a drive 4 hours to go see the mayor and say, how'd you do this? In this day and age, all we talk about is inflation and tariffs and Trump, the kook from the South, Cario called him, Fritz von Cario. They did it. They did it. They left no stone unturned to save money for the taxpayers. That's what council is supposed to do. And we can do it in Niagara Falls. I mean, When you look at the numbers, to offset 4.5% increase in this year's budget, all council has to do is find $3.1 million. That's it. 3.1 million gives us zero. I'm telling you, $200 million, 3.1 million, is a spit in the bucket. Why can't we find it? Why can't our council find it? 8 councilors, $400,000 each of savings. 8 councilors going over the budget, and they can't find $400,000 each. The money isn't the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have it. We have it in this city. Yeah, there's spendthrifts, our council, but we don't have a revenue problem. We got lots of money. But it's the resolve of council, the will to find savings and get to zero. Let's face it, that will is just not there with this council. They don't care. They don't even try to be honest. Did anybody come up with any good ideas that would save taxpayers money or raise significant amounts of money? No, not one of them. I mean, saving money is just like making money. It's revenue. I mean, I found $24 million that I questioned. Another 10 million in the capital budget. And yeah, maybe my ideas are not attainable. Maybe we can't do that. But if we could even do 20% of it, we've saved ourselves enough to have a zero budget. That means they got 80% of my ideas to blow. 20%. That's all it would take. I mean, the will has to be there, let's face it, and it isn't. I didn't want to take up the whole show doing this. I didn't want to. But it's important stuff, people. It's your money. It's your money they're spending. And for them to just disregard the fact that it's your money and come back with a 4.5% increase, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable on any level. They yell and scream about the region. They blame the region. Oh, they're going to raise it. They're raising it 7%. They raise it double. Our part is $76. Theirs is $176. They blame the region. We blame them. Got it? That's how it works. So what are you doing? You blame the region. You call them the bad guys. But what are you doing to help us? Forget about the region. We can't control that. But you can control city council. I mean, you got to look around. You got to look around and say, what have they done for us for the last 4 years? Has they delivered on any of their promises? Does the city look better? Does the city feel better? Is crime down? Our roads are better? Homeless situation better? You have to look around and ask those questions because this is your year for change. This is your chance. If you think it's necessary to change things, now is your chance. And every one of these guys sitting around the council and women have to account for their last 4 years. Not to themselves, to us. And I'm going to talk more about this as we move through the year. May 1st is nomination day. Ford may have other ideas as far as amalgamating the region and how they're going to work the region anymore. We may not even have a council to vote for. We may have Niagara and Lake, Niagara Falls, Fort Erie, 3 of them with 4 councilors. That'll be a huge change for us to be able to change things around here. But as it stands now over the last 4 years, nothing's changed. It's the same old nonsense because it's the same people sitting there. You cannot expect the people who created these problems to fix them. Let's face it, that's the way it goes. And if you're not willing to change them, then that's it. And I'm going to be talking more about the type of people we should be looking for to sit on city council who have specific talents and know what they're doing. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is Your City, Your Voice. I'm out of here. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. I had to think about it for a moment. And Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Finally, Friday. Have a good one, everybody. I'm out of here. Think about what I said. Think about it. Think about it.